Oh,
Hi, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me
hi.
okay?
Yep.
Great. My name is Lindsay Siok. But I am glad you guys have the Zoom capability.
Yep.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
having me.
Thank you for joining us. Okay. And then we have Gabby. Who else is on? Are you logging in right now? We can log in the Zoom and we can see who else is in. But yeah, if the other participants that are on the Zoom call, if you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself and introducing yourself just for a minute. If not, then we're going to move on and move to our public safety reports or our general announcements first, actually. Oh, my apologies. We did a round of introductions and we realized that our Zoom was muted. I'll introduce myself again. My name is Dominic Lamandry. I am the district manager for the Downtown Chula Vista Association.
Kevin Lewis, 3 Punk Gales.
Christina Fisher, Frederica Manor.
Gavin Minocchio, Assistant District Manager.
Joseph Rassel Labella, Pizza.
Robert Betancourt, SoCal Stroke.
Yeah, so usually we'll do our round of introductions and then we'll move on to general public comments and announcements regarding downtown. So I think we have one more person on the Zoom. We'll give them one more chance to introduce themselves, and if not, then we can move on to our public announcements. That final person, if you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself and introducing yourself, please, just for our record keeping. Okay. Oh, this should be it. Okay, we're gonna move on to non-agenda public comments and announcements. Robert, you mentioned that you had a public comment, so please, you have the floor.
Recording in progress.
Well, right now, we would ask that any public comment you make would be not specific to any agenda item. When we get to those agenda items, if you would like to speak on that item, we can allow you time after the committee members have had that chance to discuss those items to weigh in and provide your public input. How does that sound? No, it's just that. Yeah, that's what we have right here. Yeah. Yep. Not a problem. Yeah, so any documents that would be included with this agenda that would be provided after the 72-hour Brown Act notice would be posted on our website at the exact same time that it was made available to the public or to members of the committee or board. So we want to make sure that you have the same information that our board members and committee members have at the exact same time, so everybody is operating on a level playing field. And so there are no supplemental documents for this agenda packet. What's posted online is the sole document that we have in front of us right now. It just consists of the meeting agenda as well as the meeting minutes, pages 1 through 4. So thank you for your public comment, and if we'll go ahead and do another round of public comments. Well, actually, Robert, if I may real quick address the concern about parking. I think that is something that we can all agree has always been a prominent concern of our downtown businesses and residents. We want to make sure that our downtown is accessible to all modes of traffic, whether it be people walking in from the neighborhood or driving in from other areas of Chula Vista. So Robert, we've been working with the city for the last couple of years, last 3 years to be specific, of advocating for the restriping of Parkway to allow for more parking spaces. Right now, Parkway is only parallel parking against the curb. We've been advocating with the city to shrink the median or eliminate the median altogether potentially, and then put in slot diagonal parking, which would potentially expand the inventory of parking on Parkway by 50 to 75%. So we definitely understand that, you know, as more people come to downtown, we want to make sure that we make room for them, as well as once some of these properties become redeveloped, as you mentioned, and higher buildings are built, that those buildings also have necessary parking or adequate parking to accommodate those that are going to be living there, because I don't think anybody's going to be biking from San Diego to Chula Vista anytime soon as their main commute. So we want to make sure that people still have an option to park their car and then also, you know, ride their bike to the trolley station or to the bus stop and take those modes of transportation as well. I think all forms work for Chula Vista, and that's why this is a very advantageous destination to invest in and to live in. So hopefully that caught you up to speed on like what our sentiments here on parking availability are for downtown. We're a big proponent of accessible, available parking. So we typically approach items of that sort with that perspective, but we're always interested in hearing public input because we think that this is a collaborative process and we want to be inclusive of other members' perspectives as well as other members' priorities on how they would like to traverse downtown. So we want people to come here and park, but we also want people to come and, you know, live here and be able to walk out their door and experience Third Avenue. So it's a very dynamic situation, but I think right now the fact that people want to come to Chula Vista is a very promising sign. So that's what we want to continue to engender. So after I'll step down from my soapbox and I'll pass it off to anybody else that wants to speak on any public announcements or speak on parking, as Robert has brought up.
I was always under the impression it was always a balance. You try to keep the rents as reasonable as the rents, building costs as reasonable as possible. That's why I believe the city has a policy that if you're somewhat close to mass transportation, they allow a little less parking spaces. That way you can have more units and a little cheaper rent, but there's a balance.
Yep.
And on the other hand, theoretically, if you want to turn this like a little Italy, you want a ton of little apartment complexes so you have more people, more feet on the street, if people actually live here. So it's a balance we gotta go through, that's it.
Absolutely, and we gotta find what's right for Chula Vista.
Yep.
Okay, any other comments, public announcements, please?
I have one. Hello, everybody. I'm from Frederica Manor, right on Third Avenue. And we are in the process of having a large event in our community. It's our 3rd year running this event and it's getting bigger every year. It's our Health and Happiness Festival, and what this promotes is health, well-being for people of the population of 55 and older. And we invite local businesses to be part of this event where they're able to, you know, promote their business, but also get really good information for our residents in Chula Vista. It's of course open to the public, it's free for our vendors. We're actually going to be coming to Third Avenue and talking to businesses to see if they'd like to participate in this event.
Awesome.
So we're really, really excited about it. And the reason I am here is to see if I am able to have permission from downtown Chula Vista to have some sort of banner hung to advertise it, because we really want to get the word out to our community.
Mhm.
And I know that this area specifically has a lot of seniors,
Yes,
and so we really want to get the word out.
absolutely.
That, and also we have flyers, if businesses would allow us to have a flyer in their business, just to kind of continue that promotion of our event.
Absolutely.
It's in July 14th and 15th, from 9 to 2. And, again, it's free, it's open to the public. We're gonna have the blood bank, we're gonna have Roadrunner. I mean, it's just gonna be this really great, fun, healthy event.
It's gonna be at the park?
It's gonna be at our community.
Oh, at your community, okay.
Mhm.
Excellent. Absolutely, yeah, and if we can help provide any promotional support with our social media as well.
That would be
to do,
great.
we can share our stories, we can talk about leading up to the event. Maybe
Absolutely.
do a kind of, if you guys post, we can share it on our page.
Yes.
Just to, let people know that, as you mentioned, senior community is definitely a cornerstone of downtown. We're surrounded by senior housing, so we wanna make downtown as accessible as possible, as the earlier discussion I mentioned. So this is definitely aligned with how we want to position downtown, which is welcoming of all. So yeah, absolutely. Typically how, in terms of a banner, where would you hope to
I mean,
hang a banner?
ideally, it'd be nice to have it right on the 3rd Avenue sign,
Yeah.
but I mean, again, it has to be something that you all, approve of, but somewhere where it's visible to the masses. I mean, we would provide the sign, we would, hang it, or whatever your rules are, but somewhere where it's visible.
Yeah.
And I mean, this part of 3rd Avenue is kind of like,
This is the core.
this is the core.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm not aware if the city allows for any hanging on of signs on the 3rd Avenue landmark sign. I personally have never seen a sign hung from that, so I can definitely inquire on your behalf. I have no problem doing that. Where the city usually hangs banners is not necessarily they hang them, but staking it at Memorial Park across the street in the park, because
Okay.
it gives people a lot of visibility. We'd be more than happy to stake that on your behalf as well. If you
Yeah.
just provide us the banner, we'll stake it there. We do the same thing for our Lemon Festival or for other events that the city does. City has a banner, they just drop it off, and then we hang the stake, and then once the event passes, we take it down, just as a good faith effort. Yeah, I also have banner poles here on 3rd Avenue that but that's more of a sponsorship opportunity, and I'm not necessarily thinking that what you're asking for today is to use those poles as a sponsorship opportunity, because that would be more of a
That would be more of a, yes, and I would consider that next year, because my
Absolutely, yeah.
budget's already been kind
Absolutely.
of planned.
Yeah.
But yes, I would love to, wherever there's an opportunity for me to be able to hang that.
Yep.
I'd love to.
Yep.
I mean, it'll have all the information, QR code, any way for people to
Excellent.
get that information.
Yeah,
So
and then-
definitely.
Regarding the businesses, usually what we do is just step in business to business, hand out flyers. Usually, and I don't want to speak on Kevin or Joe's behalf, but businesses are very supportive about supporting local events, especially events that involve seniors. So I would imagine that there's a lot of businesses on 3rd Avenue that would be more than happy to hang flyers in their restaurants or in their place of business. A lot of them have actually bulletin boards where you can post stuff just like this.
Great, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And again, we will be going to all the businesses to see if they'd like to participate in our event, 1 or 2 days,
Nice.
So we'll be going to all the businesses to see if anybody would like to, participate.
Okay.
And we do like to, if it's food or a drink related, we'll purchase a certain amount of tastings so that, the seniors can taste, a little bit,
Yeah.
get excited. It's like, it's right on 3rd,
Well, that's
so.
great, because we do a taste event every year, and a lot of people that go to our taste event and buy tickets, they're people from the neighborhood, and a lot of times they're senior citizens, or they're people that have retired and then now are just, enjoying everything that Chula Vista has to offer. So
Yes.
it's definitely, as I mentioned, in line with how we want to position downtown. We want to be welcoming of our senior customers and our senior residents, and so this is a way that we can, I think, definitely empower other organizations that are pursuing that same goal.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. Just let me know what I need to do.
Yeah,
and-
we'll exchange information after the meeting, and then I'll introduce you to our social media team, and we'll make sure that when you guys plan to post, that we can definitely share it.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah, and this is a public meeting, so you're more than welcome to hang out. We're just gonna talk about, this meeting is more about the nuts and bolts of the services of the district in terms of public safety and cleaning. We do have a meeting on the third Wednesday of the month, and that is our district identity and placemaking committee. That typically handles the special events and branding and promotion. So you're more than welcome to hang out if you wanna talk shop about the maintenance services and stuff like that and kind of peek under the hood of how downtown operates. But if you're also interested in attending those other meetings, you're more than welcome to
I
attend
would
those meetings.
definitely want to attend those meetings.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we talked about some exciting stuff at those meetings too. Yeah,
Great.
of course.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
All right.
Yeah, have a good day.
We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Yay.
Okay.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you, Lindsay.
I think she covered everything. Who should I contact for specs for the field banners, the social media? I would love to be looped in as well. I
You
can give my
You
Sorry, go
can send a general email to info@downtownchulavista.com, and then from there we will send you all information that, or in terms of a bullet list of what we will need from you. And as long as you drop off a banner, and there's a local actual banner shop 2 doors down from us, a Project that prints. They print a lot of the city's banners. When they finish their banner, usually we just head over, get their banner from them, and then stake it across the street. So
Okay.
unfortunately, as I mentioned, I'm not sure if we can stake some or we can hang something on the Third Avenue sign, but easily we would be more than happy to provide that free of charge, staking across the street just to help get the word out.
Fantastic. Is there a possibility to have like a kind of like the yardstick as well, kind of in between the cities that we can post up? Is that something that you guys are okay having?
Let's talk a little
Especially-
bit more. Yeah, if we could talk a little bit more about that, just because there's some billboard ordinances in downtown that preclude that. But I think there's an opportunity for us, if we want to center a lot of that promotion at the park, for us to be able to take advantage of that, because the rules are a little bit more flexible at Parks and Rec than they are within the public right of way here on Third Avenue.
Gotcha. Because I think it'll be great, especially during the like maybe July, like maybe the 2 weeks before the event, to really promote that, to push it out. So just thinking out loud. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. I will be signing off as well. Thank you.
Okay, not a problem. Nice to meet you, Lindsay, and thanks for joining
Like-
us today.
Yeah, likewise. Have a good one.
Just give my card
Okay,
so
perfect.
that way you will.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
I'll give you my
Absolutely.
card here too.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.
too.
Oh, you too?
Bye.
Okay, we are going to move on now. We're gonna skip over item 3, review of our minutes, because we don't have our third committee member here, Mariana, to give us a quorum to take action on those minutes. So we're gonna table those minutes for now. If Mariana walks in, then we'll return to that item, but for now, we'll move on to item 4A and discuss downtown public safety. We typically have PD here, but it doesn't look like we have PD on the line here to provide some just general observations of what they've seen in downtown from a patrol standpoint in the last few months or few weeks. So I'll kick it over now, or open it up rather, to any community input or committee input on the state of downtown in terms of a public safety profile. What have you guys seen? What have you guys heard? Anything of concern?
Just concern the traffic, they were talking about trying to slow things down with stop signs, or just.
Yeah, so that would be on the later item 5B, a letter to the city regarding additional traffic control measures.
Quiet.
Kevin, anything of note?
I haven't heard much.
Yeah, I haven't actually heard much either. So, no news sometimes is good news, but also definitely want to stay attentive, because right now it's going to be ramping up with some of these World Cup parties, and we want to make sure that things are cordial and safe in downtown and welcoming of all, so that people don't get too excited about their team playing. And also, we have a safe event coming up on June 18th. Okay, Robert, did you want to add anything? Or are you into the public safety
I'll
report?
wait till you talk about traffic.
Okay, not a problem. Alright, so any other public comment on downtown public safety? This is just general observations of downtown public safety that we see from business owners and community members, so that we as a district can bring those concerns or elevate those concerns up to the city to address, so that we can have an overall better quality of life here in downtown Chula Vista. And I see Robert, you have your hand up.
Either he's just waving at us.
Maybe not. Robert, did you have something to say? Yep. Not a problem. I'll definitely follow up to see if, there is a impacted inventory of parking around the police station, because I hadn't heard that before, but that's something I can definitely reach out to our patrol officer to see if they city is contracted to.
One thing, you comment that they're considering paid parking in the garage.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
You can do the research of history, but I believe that parking was brought in many years ago. The federal government paid for it, providing it's free. They didn't want to put in a parking lot for the city, and the city charged for parking. I think that was part of the paperwork.
The
Yeah.
parking structure.
That's why it's free. That's what I was told way back in the day.
I remember when the city did its parking study, its plan was to raise the rates on Third Avenue to drive people to the parking structure, because it was 2 hours free on the first two levels. And then I think the city was able to negotiate, because they were talking about starting to either charge there or put arms there for in and outs. And the employees that work in the office center were concerned about, being impacted. And so I think the negotiated settlement was that there were gonna be long-term permits on the top floor, where typically no one ever parks on the top floor. And then they were gonna reserve the bottom two floors for 2-hour free parking. But I haven't heard anything right now that they had planned to increase parking fees there.
Just repeat, I believe it is free parking.
Yeah, it is free.
I believe they want to limit it to 2 hours, but it's always free. I was told.
That's what was my understanding.
But that was the understanding when they built it
Yeah,
12,000 years
but
ago.
typically they give us a heads up of this thing is coming, because they know there's gonna be a lot of community questions and they wanna get ahead of it. So I haven't heard anything. But Robert, thanks for bringing that up to our attention. That's something else that we can follow up with the city to see if there's any plans to implement paid parking at that parking structure. I do know the city has they have about 3 or 4 surface lots surrounding downtown as well, in which people park, but those are also often impacted, especially on Friday and Saturday nights with patrons that are patronizing Third Avenue. So we want to make sure, as I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, that people can get to Third Avenue because we want to support that customer base. But we want to make sure that there's adequate turnover within those lots as well, so that people don't park there for 8-9 hours at a time. Okay, Robert, good.
We're on 5B.
We're not on 5B. Yeah, I just want to make sure that everyone. Okay. All right. We're gonna move on now to item 4B, downtown maintenance operations. Just a brief update from us as staff with our in-house maintenance crew. We have since the last meeting, we have taken on the maintenance of the medians. Originally, that was a higher third-party contractor that we oversaw. We have since brought that service in-house and had our in-house maintenance crew pick it up. So we are actively working on irrigation, weeding, hedge trimming, and then we're going to be very soon doing a remulching as a lead up to the World Cup, and so that our medians are looking very nice for the increased crowds that are going to be on Third Avenue and patronizing our businesses. So outside of that, it's really kind of just run-of-the-mill stuff. As you see on your agenda, our next quarterly pressure washing service of the district is happening next week. So that's going to be June 1st, next week, yeah. So that's going to be a good primer for those crowds, as I mentioned, coming to Third Avenue for the World Cup. And we have our in-house unit that we can do spot cleaning, but we right now need some additional work to be had from HOTC because we're having some issues with pressure in terms of when we hook it up to a external irrigation source. So we're talking through that with the Hot Seat Tech. They're pretty knowledgeable about it, and we bought the unit from them, and they're just right here in Chula Vista. So right now, we're not able to do spot cleaning until we resolve that pressure issue, but we're also going to be having that quarterly pressure washing service coming to you next week, so that should take care of any stains on the sidewalk right now. So outside of that, everything else is looking pretty solid. Any questions on data maintenance, please?
Could we, maybe monitor, so could I have a table kind of right in front of me,
Yes,
with chairs there? Maybe wipe those once in a while?
absolutely. Yeah.
Because, I think with the increased traffic from World Cup, they're gonna get really messy,
Yes.
I think, but usually first thing in the morning, it'd be nice if they.
Yes, they should be happening. If they're not happening, then I'll definitely make a reminder to our guys to do that.
That and maybe, is there gonna be any additional trash cans for that?
So that's something that we're gonna be talking about with, I think it's on here. Oh, it's not, but part of our, we received board approval to submit a grant to the county to request additional tables and chairs, but also additional trash cans. Because right now, your side doesn't have any trash cans because originally there were trash cans over there and they're becoming an issue in terms of people vandalizing them and using them for illegal dumping. And so we took them and put them on the other side next to those sets, but we still plan to return a set of trash cans to your side to accommodate people eating there, because what we don't want is people to eat their lunch there and then have nowhere to throw their away the trash and leave their trash on the tables. So that's the plan, but right now we can definitely resolve, and that grant will be submitted once the new fiscal year starts at the county on July 1. We will receive board approval to submit that grant, but we can start wiping down those tables right now. And I'll make sure I talk with my guys after this meeting and making a note that this is something that should be happening already. Because but infrastructure for people to sit down, it needs to be presentable for people to want to sit down, right? So my apologies if you've had to deal with that, but in the future, if you want to also give us a call, it's not up to your standard, you can also absolutely do that too. All right, any other questions on the downtown maintenance? Oh, we see Robert. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's actually a kind of a topic that we're gonna be expanding on a little bit on the letter to the city regarding additional traffic calming measures. But that's something that we've actively been starting to take on regarding Third Avenue landscaping, especially on the medians, is that there have been a reported number of instances, traffic collisions on Third Avenue from people that are driving, unruly, but also people that frankly don't see people walking across the street because there may be distracted or there may be impediments that prevent them from being able to see those things before it's too late. So part of what we're looking at with our median landscaping is trimming back a lot of the hedges around some of these crosswalks. These hedges weren't originally put in by our staff. They were put in as part of the city's original landscaping plan for Third Avenue, and downtown Chula Vista essentially is mandated to maintain it. But there, as you mentioned, Robert, there are some daylighting rules that have been recently passed in both the state of California and then also in the city of Chula Vista that encourages or mandates a lot of these intersections to be free of these type of visual impediments. So one thing the city's been doing is reducing traffic or parking spaces around crosswalks to allow greater visibility for pedestrian or for the people using the crosswalk, but also for drivers that are approaching the crosswalks. But also what we can do in the meantime, voluntarily and at our discretion, is to begin par back some of that landscaping so people also don't have that landscaping impediment or that visual impediment that is produced by the landscaping. So we are aligned with what the city is trying to achieve, and we are overall making downtown safer because that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to create a canopy that discourages walkability. We're trying to, bring some natural beauty to downtown, but it shouldn't be at the expense of public safety in terms of people crossing the street. So thank you for bringing that up. It is definitely a point of a concern for our community and something that we're taking active steps to mitigate. But right now we're working with kind of a landscaping palette we inherited, and we have, I think, made big steps in terms of reducing a lot of the visual clutter that has made downtown a little bit more unwelcoming in the past, if I may say. So with that, we're gonna move on real quick to our committee updates. 5A, next quarterly pressure washing service, week of June 1st. So as I mentioned, the district is serviced by a third-party pressure washing vendor on a quarterly basis. Our last pressure washing service was at the end of March, right after our taste event. And then now we are doing it on the beginning of June, prior to our World Cup event that will be on June 18th that the city will be organizing in downtown. So it'll be a good chance for us to refresh the district before we get a lot of eyes and a lot of newcomers to Third Avenue. And it's always best foot forward, right? So that's just a general information update for anybody. Any questions from the committee members? Nope. Robert, you good? Okay. All right, move on now to item 5B, letter to the city regarding additional traffic calming measures. So I have submitted a draft letter to the city that we're working with the city on fine tuning to submit to the city manager's office requesting for additional traffic calming measures. I have brought up, in the letter, it characterizes the association's, healthy relationship with the city as a working partner to design and maintain downtown, and part of that design needs to accommodate the increased pedestrian traffic we've seen in downtown, which was the agreed upon vision of downtown way back when the city began all these investments with the face improvement project and with the master plan streetscape or the master streetscape plan project. So this has been, 13, 15 years coming, but the idea is that downtown was always meant to be pedestrian friendly, a pedestrian kind of environment, pedestrian oriented environment, and the association, I think, has definitely risen to that vision. We've added additional trash cans, we've added tables and chairs, we've redone a lot of the old city landscaping, we've added additional lighting. I think now the expectation on the city side would be that they, look for ways to buy infrastructure, things that we can't control ourselves. They look at infrastructure wise, how they can design downtown to be more friendly to the pedestrian and also accommodate increased events that we've seen in most recent years, like the farmers market that happens weekly, the Lemon Festival that we're coming on the 29th annual Lemon Festival, the taste event that I just mentioned, in which we sell 700 tickets and we have 700 customers walking around, and then also other events like the June 18th World Cup event that we're gonna have, or our most recent event, the Dia de los Muertos event, or the Starlight Parade that sees tens of thousands of people that come to downtown. All this is so people associate positive things with downtown, but also the city, it's a mandate for us to make sure that when people come down here, that they have a safe experience. And part of that safe experience is being able to use the crosswalk without fear of people speeding or people blowing through stop signs or blowing through street light or street stop signs, or not stop signs, stop lights, excuse me. So I submitted that letter to the city. I'm waiting on some comments from them before I finalize it, but the board will see that final letter because it was authorized to send it to the city at the last meeting. So with that, I'll open up for any questions or comments.
All right. I'm a strong believer in this because Labella's, I got a counter, I see the crosswalk right there almost every day. People almost hitting people almost every day. And it was brought up at the last meeting over the past, how many incidents there have been of, hitting bollards, hitting planet. What, do you remember that number? How many?
10.
10?
Yeah.
And I forgot the lady's name, but I won't use it, but for my own information, whose son was seriously injured.
Oh, yeah.
Moreno.
And do you know when that was?
That was, I think, early April.
Here's why, and excuse me for sounding cynical, but I've been dealing with the city personally for 55 years, since I've been managing Labella's. And when I address them, I address things that concern them, the city of Chula Vista. I'm gonna write them a letter, I'll run it by you to make sure, as a private citizen, has nothing to do with you guys, the city's financial liability. I'll just say they have huge liability here with the problem here. I've shot photographs, I'm composing a letter of the 6 crosswalks between E Street and where the coffee shop is in Alvarado. There's 6 crosswalks that do not have stop signs. And I also got some pictures of streets in Chula Vista, J Street by Highway 5, Nacion, just south of L Street, where the city has arbitrarily put stop signs just to slow traffic down. So it's not like we're gonna do something that's never been done. They do that quite often, putting stop signs. You drive on north on Nacion or any direction on Nacion, they got these stop signs that have no reason except there's not cross traffic, just to slow people down. Having said that, I think if I compose it right and let the city realize the liability they're leaving them open by not slowing down the traffic, there's lawsuits waiting to happen.
I would just say, like, you can, as a private citizen, you can do whatever at your discretion. But regarding downtown, I think that if you're gonna talk about other places outside of downtown, you're totally fine. I would say if we can limit, your discussion regarding downtown stop signs to what we're gonna include in the letter, like let us cover downtown. Yeah.
Just say bad idea, I won't do it. If you look at it, say that's good.
You can do whatever you want as a private citizen. In that letter, do you imagine that you would mention downtown, or would you cover other areas outside?
I'll actually show them the photographs where there's crosswalks, where there's no stop signs. I'll actually show them photos in the letter, and I will show them photos that I've already taken of where there's places where they have stop signs that have nothing to do with slow down traffic.
Okay.
That's.
So you can do that if at your own discretion, yeah, because our letter is gonna be kind of similar, calling out specific crosswalks within our downtown in terms of saying, these are the crosswalks between H and E that we want specifically protected. We're gonna be advocating for things like the light up stripes on the ground and the light up signs and the button you press so that there's flashing lights. But those lights can be combined with a stop sign. They don't have to be limited to a yield sign or to a pedestrian yield crosswalk. So potentially there could be some alignment in terms of you advocating for what you're gonna advocate as a private citizen and what our letter will eventually advocate for in terms of beefing up some of these crosswalks, but I would definitely say you're more than welcome to do whatever your
Two more
discretion.
questions.
Yeah.
Were there any other incidences that we have records of where people were actually injured?
I don't think the association has any of those records. No.
Okay. Item number 2, which I had already forgot, was oh yeah, the reason I like stop signs, they're cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, to put those flashing lights up are really cool in the crosswalks. I've seen like where the schools, that's cool. But if you want to get something done, you gotta keep it in budget.
Yes.
And I think stop signs are cheap.
Yeah, so that's part of what our letter is gonna say, is like at these intersections, we're gonna advocate for a range of options from the light ups that I mentioned in the crosswalk and on the signs to potentially even stop signs if the city thinks it warrants them. I think at certain intersections, I think something needs to really be done for the crosswalk underneath the sign, because as you mentioned, that's the one you're talking about. People fly to get the green light, to get to past G.
Yeah.
Or they're flying down Third Avenue to get through the light again. And people are just really have no regard for people crossing there. It's one of the most busy intersections with a middle school and also Talavera Azul right across the street.
Plus, I don't want to take more time. Plus, remember our whole goal, the big picture of downtown, is to get more people downtown, feet on the street, stuff like that. Greater congestion, the more people you got, the problem just exacerbates.
Exactly, that's what I was mentioning in terms of us, the city and the association cooperatively started down this path to make downtown more pedestrian friendly and to attract these types of events. Now we need to protect the people that are coming to downtown by beefing up these crosswalks.
One last thing, you said there were 10 incidents where they've hit things, in what time frame?
Between April 2022 and present day, yeah, pretty much. So April 2022 to April 2026.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
so
all I have to
about
say.
4 years period. Okay, you good? Robert?
Yeah, I had 2 meetings with Jose Preciado and the city manager. The last meeting was just last week, and we were going over these topics for crosswalks. There's obviously one right in front of me as well, between F and Davidson. And I have video when I scoot up to the crosswalk and they don't stop, and nobody stops. And I have video of a young lady, an older lady, stuck in the middle while traffic keeps going.
Yeah.
And, cause it just to reiterate your point, what we were talking about was some type of lights or something. So apparently there's some traffic manager or some engineer supposed to come by my place, and we're supposed to talk about it and
Eddie Flores?
and whatever. No, it's a lady.
Okay.
And they're supposed to come by and talk about it or whatever, until I saw, this on your
Yeah.
thing. So I'm glad it's being
Absolutely.
looked at. But mine, there's a sign, but the tree's blocking it. It's just that type of stuff.
Palm tree or is it the
One
other?
of those, yeah, another tree. So it's something like that, but, they talked about lights, they talked about this and that, and then I was told, well, downtown's got a budget, right, for this, and I just made me laugh. And I said, well, that's nice of you to try to pass the buck, but we're in Chula Vista, damn it,
And when they say downtown has a budget for that, they may be speaking about us. I'm not aware of a line item that we have dedicated to this because we don't. But there's also a downtown parking district that is the meters that they have on the street goes into a parking district, and what the city uses that money on is what they're supposed to be using it for traffic calming and restriping and stuff like that. If you look at the budget breakdown of what the city uses on, it's a lot of it's going to the contract for Ace Parking and the maintenance of the downtown parking garage. And so, it doesn't sound like the city's a little bit pointing fingers, but the district here isn't exactly supposed to be doing the restriping, isn't supposed to be doing a lot of the traffic calming stuff. That is really squarely on the city side, the transportation department or the engineering and planning department.
That's what we asked for the grant money too.
Yes, about $40,000, yeah, and part of our grant ask to the city or to the county, I mentioned that we're gonna be submitting after July 1. Portion of that grant is gonna be for tables and chairs, for trash cans, but about 40,000 is gonna be for additional traffic calming measures at the crosswalks throughout our downtown, is because we recognize that something needs to be done, and what our plan is to do is provide matching funds to the city to incentivize the city to invest in the money, because we've been asking for this for some time, and the city hasn't exactly been responsive to making these enhancements, and so we're trying to make the best case and say we have funds to match whatever funds you're willing to commit. But these funds have to come from the county. We don't have any, we don't have $40,000 just lying around that we can throw at a problem that isn't necessarily our problem to solve.
You might wanna check into this. For your information, the state of California about 3 years ago made subtle changes in right of way. A lot of people are under the impression if you're in a crosswalk, pedestrian, you have the right of way. You do not. They're having problems with people on their cell phone just walking out in the street. How it's supposed to work is how the law was changed. You're supposed to stop at a crosswalk, look, make some sort of eye contact with the car coming. Once you do, you have the right of way. If you arbitrarily just walk out, you get hit. Cars got the right of way.
Yeah. And in your, thanks Joe for that, and Robert, just for our own clarity, in that meeting you had with Prashant, the city manager, was it, if you mind me asking, was it the council member or the city manager that was saying that downtown has funds for this council member? Okay, I guess we have to circle back with our council member and.
It's gone all over the place, this conversation. It was a pretty heated conversation.
Okay.
And
as it should be, because it's public safety, right?
yeah. And I don't want to hear about tax money when we're talking about safety.
Yeah.
I
agree.
You're trying tax dollars way on Broadway. I know First Third and probably Dorset, but it's got nothing to do with it, public safety.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, it's been the vision of the city to encourage people to walk downtown. People won't walk downtown if they don't feel safe walking downtown. Especially if we have senior citizens that are all around us in terms of housing with the new Citrus Villa that just opened up at 30E. I think the time is now that we invest in our downtown demographics. Okay, well, thank you for the discussion. We're approaching the kind of the end of our meeting time, so I'm gonna just run through these last few items very quickly. Item 5C, downtown parking garage maintenance RFP. As I mentioned, there's one parking district in all of the city of Chula Vista and in downtown Chula Vista here on 3rd Avenue. With that money, and last I saw the presentation, it generated around $900,000 in revenue every year. That money is completely controlled by the city, and that money is used for I think around 400,000 to 500,000. I'm not sure on the exact amount as of late, but that goes to the administration of the contract via Ace Parking. And then last budget I saw about 100,000 went to the downtown parking maintenance to Ace Parking. So Ace is definitely this is a beneficial contract for them. But I think that based on what we've seen in the downtown parking garage and what we've seen, heard from downtown businesses regarding the parking enforcement, that there is room for improvement. So our board has expressed interest in months past of being able to apply or submit a proposal to the city to maintain the parking garage. As recently as 2017, the city was contracting with the association to service that parking garage before they assumingly contracted with Ace to manage that parking garage. So we know that there's a policy precedence with regards to the association managing or using its in-house maintenance crew to manage that parking structure. We already manage the other 16 blocks around the parking structure, so this would be just an economy of scale for our association and a way for us to reinvest those funds back into downtown in terms of real dollars and real value. So I need to follow up with the city on if there's any expected release of an RFP this year for that parking garage. Now would be the time, as the city is finalizing its budget, assuming that the city does have a budget that gets approved regarding the parking district downtown. Essentially, I would imagine that the RFP for that parking garage maintenance would come sometime in July to follow the approved budget by the city. So I need to, as I mentioned, touch base with the city because right now we don't really have too much clarity on what the timeline is, if there is any timeline for a garage maintenance RFP. But I know that based on the board's action in past or the board's interest in the past, they have interest in the association potentially submitting a proposal to maintain that parking garage. Any questions on that? No. All right, item D, City of Chula Vista, update on sidewalk vending ordinance. There's no update as of yet, but I think that this is gonna become a very telling issue very soon, especially with our as the World Cup coming up. What we typically see are vendors. Huh? Oh, Robert, did you have something that you wanted to mention on this item or the previous item? Gabby? Not a problem. Gabby, would you mind just sharing that? Thanks. Yeah, so something going on though. Right now, the city of Chula Vista does not have a sidewalk vending ordinance that allows people to set up a structure on the sidewalk, potentially impeding ADA access on local sidewalks to serve everything from food to retail items, and they don't have to receive a permit to do so. So what the state law does allow for are local municipalities to pass rules around public safety and public health. Public health in the county of San Diego is controlled by county health. In terms of public safety, that defers to local police departments. So any enforcement to come from sidewalk vending has to come from a dual approach from both local PD and county health officers. But typically, that's very difficult to regulate because the sidewalk vending typically happens a lot of times after traditional business hours when a lot of these entities are off or not on the clock, and so that requires them to expend or organize overtime to address it in the late hours. So why this isn't on our agenda is because we have received reports over many years now, going on about 4 years, of regular presence of sidewalk vendors on Third Avenue sidewalks impeding access, ADA access specifically on our local sidewalks, and oftentimes leaving messes after because their operations may include oil or may include some type of food additive that stains our local sidewalks. So this right now is an unregulated vending presence in our downtown because the city of Chula Vista has not passed any regulations around sidewalk vending that I know of. We've received word from the city that they are planning to pass such rules to determine, some rules around, or to create some rules around vending and vending presences within the city, but there is no update as of now in terms of anything coming to council for review. So with that, we'll open it up for any questions from the committee's members, and if not, then we'll go to Robert. All right, nope, Robert? Thank you, Robert. Okay, and then we're gonna move on to item 5E, update on city-wide outdoor dining policy. So, I mean, we've heard many times again that a policy is incoming. I haven't seen anything. We heard of it from the mayor a couple meetings ago that there was one coming. I still don't, still not aware if there is anything that's coming to the fore. We know that the mayor is supportive of having outdoor dining return, which was an old policy implemented during the COVID shutdowns. But we haven't seen any finalized policy come from the city to allow operators to build. And now we are coming into the summer months when I think most operators are focused on, working with what they got versus expanding operations. And no one wants to be built out by August for the baseball season to end in September. And then football obviously, but still I think people are hoping to maximize their use in the same fiscal year or calendar year once they build these things, and not having a policy available in the spring really pushes this thing back a whole another year because people aren't gonna be open to building something and maximizing this in the winter months when there's not as much traffic on Third Avenue. So not too much to update there, and any questions from the committee members? Nope. And Robert has his hand up. Robert? Look at that, Robert, thank you. All right, thank you, Robert. All right, any other old business, other business? We're at time, so next meeting will be the fourth Wednesday of the month, June 24, 2026, 9 o'clock in person at this office, same place, same time. And we don't have a quorum, so we can't take adjournment, but thank you all for coming. And my apologies that we couldn't meet our quorum, but I think we still had a pretty good discussion regarding downtown topics.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert. You too, thank you.